I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia at the age of 18. I am now currently 19 and my first year at DUT studying biotechnology. I had a good school life. I had extracurricular of dancing and the opportunities to go around traveling and performing live on stage. That's actually my brother and I. We used to do modern Hindi dancing together. And that for me was my adrenaline and thrill. And at that time, I could not see anything beyond that. And I could have never imagined of being diagnosed with cancer. I've been through a year and a half of chemotherapy and radiation. I've used a lot of blood products, hemoglobin, platelets, even blood plasma as well. Without the blood products or that everything that I received, I would not have been able to fight off cancer.
I'm a specialist obstetrician and gynecologist. We have a lot of patients that have things like cancer, that need blood transfusions, elective surgeries, even our early pregnancy complications like miscarriages, ectopic pregnancies, lose a lot of blood, and without the use of blood products, they simply won't have the same outcome.
I wouldn't be standing here doing what I do today if it wasn't for the miracle life-saving act of receiving blood via blood transfusions.
Up, down, rotate.
I got peritonitis in the abdomen, so septicemia in the abdomen. It was caused by my large intestine rupturing, and they only picked it up about 2 or 3 days after it happened, so my whole body had gone septic and my organs started to shut down. But this was all subsequent from me having that blood poisoning in my blood. So if it wasn't for the blood as being part of everything else, I would have definitely have died.
Let's have a look at your tongue. Bigger. Good boy.
Dealing with children, I have to look after children with blood disorders as well as children with cancer. So last year alone, this practice diagnosed about 14 new children with cancer alone and numerous others with blood disorders. So my need for blood and platelets to manage my patients is quite high compared to another clinician.
Breathe for me, darling.
The donations of blood and platelets allow me to give my patients chemotherapy. It allows me to stop my patients from bleeding. It allows me to get my patients the appropriate surgical procedures that they require. But I think most importantly, it allows me to allow them to live. And that is not an over-exaggeration.
Again.
Nana has acute myeloid leukemia, and getting him to this point has been incredibly gratifying because he came to me quite ill. And without the use or without the support of blood and platelets, we would not have been able to get him to this point. Thank you.
I'm a teacher by profession, having been a teacher for 30 years. When I was diagnosed with aplastic anemia, that day was a terrible day for me to discover that I've got this kind of a disease which is not curable. They started on transfusion right away. When you don't have white blood cells, you don't have immunity. You are exposed to all kinds of infections.
So for me to avoid that, I need to wear a mask wherever I go inside the school so as to avoid those infections.
Just by transfusing patients fluids and doing the basic resuscitation gets you to a certain point. But as we know, you cannot live without blood. And if we don't have that blood, ultimately the patients cannot compensate and they cannot deal with the severity of the emergency, and ultimately they will die. We as the doctors are the ones that administrate the blood, but the real heroes and the real people that are saving the lives are the people donating the blood. If I could thank every single one of them, I would, because they don't realize how much of a difference they do make in that small sacrifice that they make in donating blood.
To the people out there who are donating blood, I am truly grateful, for they have contributed a lot in bringing my life back.
when you're able to walk outside and for the first time in your life look at the sunshine in a different way. When everyone else is running around away from the rain and you embracing the rain upon your face for the first time that you see it, you thought you'd never see something like that again. It's something very special. You see people's smiles for the first time in their life as well. So more than a second chance, it's a renewal of life. It's a different type of life that I live now compared to what I used to live.
Every donor that's donated for me has gave me another chance of fighting and living a full, long life. You don't just save that person, you save that entire family by giving them that blood.
From my patients who are nameless and who are faceless to the donors, I'd like to say thank you. I'm intensely grateful because on a daily basis I am ordering urgent blood or urgent platelets.
Thank you to all of you
who donated blood and platelets for me.
who donated blood and platelets for me.
Their gift that they give is priceless. It's the gift of life.